Welcome back to Breaking Fallout. In our last episode, I showed how to connect settlements to Sanctuary for the Minutemen on a high charisma build. But now we have made ourselves a female character. The reason being female characters are more broken because of the skill Black Widow as compared to Lady Killer. You're going to run into more males when fighting raiders and things of that nature, so the damage buff is more usable, not to mention a lot of dialogue is with males as well. But I wanted to go over if you wanted to play the build I'm going to be showing naturally and not modded. So we took a 9 in agility to get Blitz, just because the distance that it can make up is fantastic. We took a 6 in intelligence for science, that way we can get our crafting. Same thing with blacksmith, being a 4 in strength, we wanted blacksmith. We only took a 3 in charisma for lone wanderer, and a 3 in luck for bloody mess to add more damage to everything that we're doing. And then we took a 2 in perception, because we're going to go for the +2, one from the bobblehead in the Museum of Freedom, and then one from the Your Special book in Sean's room at your house in Sanctuary. That way you can do locksmithing and hacking yourself. This is meant to be a lone wanderer melee build, mainly perked out for stealth. That way you can sneak in close and then blitz the rest of the way, and then blitz your way around the room, closing the distance very easily. But I've decided to make this a modded playthrough. I'm going to say for legal reasons that I do not own any of these mods. These are just the mods that I personally enjoy playing with to make myself the Wasteland superhero and simplify some settlement building. So we'll go over that briefly, just to show what I do have going on here. So these first two are bound together. You need the keywords for the base game upgrades for armor, but this allows for you to layer things that normally should not have armor on top of them. Not to mention layer a few other choices, as well as a lot of good stuff. This just fixes armor, so power armor is now the lesser option. We've taken legendary modification. That pretty much explains itself. While modifying weapons and armor, we can add legendary effects. Unlimited resources shipment. This is very nice. It's a simple way to get max resources for a settlement, even though we can do the same thing with the next mod of Freemaker. Turns your chemistry station into a crafting station of immense proportions. You can craft a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and we will go over that. Starting special 70. It's exactly what it sounds like. You can leave the vault with 10s. You can, even before you go in the vault with 10s, just have the mod equipped. Quick hack and pick. This is where we had the bleed over effect for the hacking in our last video. It bled over, even though it wasn't on. The hacking still only made it to where there was one word on the screen. The advanced jetpack ring. This thing is awesome. Not only can we jetpack without having one on, but if you are in power armor with a jetpack, it still works to have no fusion core or AP drain as you're using it, and it also nullifies fall damage. There are a couple other more benefits, but let's move on. Ballistic weave. This goes along with the armor mod. It adds ballistic weave to things that normally did not have it, and things that did have it, it can be even better. All map markers visible. There's also all map markers ready for fast travel, but I prefer this. That way we still gain experience from finding the spots ourselves. Simple infinite ammo. I tried several different infinite ammos. This one was the one that worked the best for my playstyles. . Nuclear grenades have no weight. It explains itself. Wolverine healing, which will be the first thing we will actually acquire because this is an item set. But again, it's super fast healing with other benefits and buffs. The Fat 6, it's a 44 pistol that shoots mini nukes. Enough said. Dogs, not Brahmin. This is so when you have provisioners, they're followed by dogs, and the Brahmin don't get in the way as much because dogs have a little bit better AI tracking. The mass fusion fuse box generators, this helps with my undying hatred for needing to have a whole array of generators just to get good power in a settlement. It condenses them down into a fuse box with different units of power. And then finally, better destruction through science. This gives some weapons and armor advanced upgrades through advanced components we can make from things that are already in the game. Now, that's my setup. That's what I like to use. I'm sure there are other things I could be using, but this is what I like to use to make myself, like I had said, a wasteland superhero. So we're going to exit the vault, and we'll notice the first modification when we change our name and special. We still have 42 points to spend, so we are maxing out our special in tens. So there's the first thing. And again, I am turning myself into a superhero, so we're going to call ourselves the Reclaimer. Take back the wasteland. Don't need to change the appearance because we're going to be dolled up in a whole bunch of different armor. But this requires a unique start. When I say that, just like in my other series, how I took the time to clean everything out of Sanctuary, and there's a whole ritual around your preparation and getting your character ready to go out into the big bad wasteland before you ever leave Sanctuary. We're going to do the same thing, only with uber cheating involved. So this is, I like to use these kind of playthroughs because, you know, I've already gotten all the trophies I'm going to earn. I've already experienced things, you know, the challenging way. Now we're going to have fun with it. So the first thing we're going to do as we leave the vault is we're going to come back to this blue trailer. This is where the Wolverine healing is. You can see these 4 rings next to the desk fan, and then there's a couple of unarmed options that give you different effects. So you have the bladed Wolverine knuckles and gauntlet. With the Wolverine bladed, targets bleed as well as exceptional damage. But we're more interested in these rings because they give health regeneration, as well as increased unarmed damage, and all of them give a +5 to perception and a +2 to strength. So in total, that's a +20 to perception and a +8 to strength. Yeah. It's ridiculous good. Not to mention, it increases your movement speed slightly, which is something we are going to be doing even further. And it also increases your AP generation. Watch the bar. Watch the bar. Yoop. So, yeah, really good. Not to mention, if you're going for a Berserker's build, the health regen allows you to keep your resistances low to get that damage buff. But we are not going to do that. What we're going to do instead is we're going to come here to the chemistry station, which is now got so many more things to do. You can see the original options of drug, grenade, healing, mines, syringer, and utility are still there, but here in utility we have the advanced jetpack ring. We are going to be making ourselves one of those. We are also going to be making a couple of Daddy-O Extremes, which are level boosters. It's an EXP boost, and most of the stuff that has FM next to it, the free maker, that means that it does not cost anything to make it. So we're also going to be making a couple of spawn chests. So we're going to make one for armor, and then we're going to make one for weapons, and then you can make however many you want for scrap. That's just for later. They don't weigh anything, so go ahead and make those. There was something else. Wasn't there? Now we can make all these advanced materials in a moment because those are for the better destruction through science. You know, I think that was it. EXP boosts, chest. Alright, yeah. For now. So, we're going to back out of the station. And since we have interacted with the station, that's going to allow us to go into the workshop menu. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on the jetpack ring. We're going to equip the armor chests and throw it out because it's a grenade. Then we're going to equip the weapons chest and throw it out. Now don't worry if you get them stacked on each other. You're not accessing them. You're going into the workshop menu. And then you're going to scrap them. Also, you're going to go into the resources tab. You're going to go to the miscellaneous. And your very first option now should be a shipment of everything. I'm going to lay that down and scrap it too. Now it's going to say it's all 9s, but it turns out to be like 300k or something. But now we're going to pick up our chemistry workbench. And if you want to test out the new jetpack ring, you can. But we're just going to go put it in our regular spot that we normally do here at the workshop in Sanctuary. Now that we have all of those put together, I'm going to clear out a spot here. And I'm going to move the armor workbench because we are going to need that and the weapons workbench. But the first thing we're going to do is going to go here into transfer, and we're going to put away things we're not going to be using. I'm not going to be doing an unarmed build. I'm going to be doing a melee weapons. So we're going to put away the Wolverine stuff too. I'm putting away all the clothes that we had. We're going to keep our wedding ring. Your spouse's wedding ring does not get this benefit, but because of the armor mod, this gives a +1 to charisma, and it can be upgraded, so we're going to hold on to that. So right now we're just wearing rings. I'm also going to put all those away because we're not going to need them. Same thing here. Hold on to those. We're going to just store junk even though we have way too much of it. Now, from our inventory, we're going to take all the ammo that was with the weapons chest. That way, in case raiders come, they don't get any ammo. And then we're going to be choosing our weapons. There are so many to choose from. I haven't even tested all of them out. But there's a one of everything, including things like the Zeta gun. So some legendary weapons. I'm not going to say one of everything, because like Krem's Tooth is not here. But we are going to go with the Super Sledge because it is the best of the best melee-wise. Now, when it comes to apparel, you have choices. You have a lot of choices as to what you want to do. Honestly, you can just look the way you want to look. But I try to do some kind of buff or benefit, whether it's increasing the special or not. I'm going to go all the way down here to the bottom of the list to give an example of what I'm talking about. If you've ever run into the Atom Cats and their leader Zeke, his jeans and jacket give a +1 to charisma and a +4 to unarmed damage. So if you were going for unarmed, that would be the clothing that you want. But I find either boosting your perception even farther than what the Wolverine healing rings do, or boosting your charisma have benefits that are noticeable, because having the biggest perception gives more accuracy in VATS. So, but since we don't really need that because we're going melee, we could go for strength boosters or agility boosters. Both of those would be useful. So the first thing I'm going to do, just to get as many buffs and benefits as I can. First, we're going to take the airship captain's hat for one, because that gives us charisma and endurance. Next, we're going to be taking a blue bandana. Any kind of face covering, surgical mask or something like that is usable. We're going to take Kate's bandolier. It cannot be upgraded or customized, but it is a +1 to strength while wearing it, and it goes on top of pretty much anything with this armor mod. Next, I'm going to want a combat armor chest piece, and either it's going to be under combat armor, heavy combat armor, or sturdy combat armor. It's the same thing with the other regular chest pieces. What's next? I'm going to want a faded visor, because the faded visor seems to layer on top of a lot of other choices that can go on top of your head, so it's just an extra +1 to perception, and it is upgradable. What's next? And again, I'm going to look ridiculous when all this is said is done. So many layers. So many layers. But we are also going to want synth arms and legs. If you want, you can have an armored helmet like the combat or the metal, but I prefer to have the boosts to my special. Speaking of boosts to special, Liam's glasses, they give a +2 to intelligence, but a -1 to charisma. I will take it because that just offsets by a few pieces of clothing we already have. And we're getting down the list. So we should be finding sturdy armors. There we go. So I need sturdy arms. Did I just miss? Nope, they should be down here. And there's the legs. So synth armor. Alright, so if everything is said and done, you should have 5 pieces of armor, 2 hats, some kind of glasses, one of those hats being the faded visor, by the way, a set of glasses, or something, eye covering, rogue goggles, welding goggles, something like that, a face covering, and clothes. I think we are set. That should be about it. No, I never agreed on clothes. I never figured what that was going to be. So we're looking for something that helps. I know exactly what I'm going for. We're going for a +2 to agility with the military fatigues. Now the military fatigues also, in base game, vanilla game, they can have armor on top of them, so it looks better. Because if you get something that wasn't meant to have all of this armor on top of it, it looks ridiculous. Things bleed through. But like I said, I'm already going to end up looking ridiculous. Just to illustrate my point. That does look a bit ridiculous. But wait, it gets worse. Now, we need to gain a level or 2. So we're going to take one of these Daddy-O Extreme. We're going to go into crafting, and for our super sledge, we don't have the skills to put any of that on it, but you don't need skills to put a legendary effect, thanks to the legendary crafting. So we're going to put instigating, I'm thinking. Yeah, because when we smack them, they should be full health, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, normally that action would only get us, maybe like 16 experience, even at a 10 in intelligence, but we just got ourselves up to level 18. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one in every crafting. So blacksmith, armorer, gun nut, and science. We're just going to, we can even go further actually than just one. Might as well. So take those perks all the way up that you can. Now we're going to go into the sediment building, and we're going to go into crafting. And now you see we need local leader for most of these, but there's now ammunition workbench, an armor smith workbench, and then there's also a weaponsmith workbench, so you can build weapons, armor, and ammunition instead of having to just find them or what have you. And we're going to make an armor smith bench because we're going to add to our costume here. We're going to make a cape. I said we were a wasteland superhero. I was being literal. I can hear Edna Mode screaming at me right now. And then we're also going to make gloves. Choice is yours, but I like the metal reinforced leather. They look cool. It's something I personally would wear in the apocalypse. But now, let's go ahead and equip those. So there's that, and the cape. So now you can see we are even more ridiculous looking. Fantastic. Now, in order to upgrade this armor and our weapons, certain weapons, specifically with the better destruction through science, we're going to have to come here and make some advanced materials. This is going to require us to get our ranks in a bunch of stuff maxed out. So what we're going to do first, while that Daddy-O is still active, is we're going to take all of this costume that we have, and we're going to be splitting things up. So first we're going to make our Pip-Boy. Its legendary effect is going to be that's enhanced. We are also going to do that for whatever glasses you are wearing. And then we're going to be doing it for the 5 pieces of armor that we're wearing. So, and if you want to, you can make them heavy. Doesn't change anything. But what you really want is the legendary to be that enhanced. So, and you just want it heavy because that's the best defense that it can put out. Now, I know that free falling on your legs does sound very tempting, but we already have that taken care of with the jetpack ring. It negates fall damage. For us, not for your followers. If you make one for your follower, it does not negate that. That's where you're going to have to use the Acrobat's legendary effect. And that... no, it's already heavy. That right here. 2 of those, it's basically the free fall effect, and it will work on your followers. A lot of these legendary effects do not work on followers. I honestly think it was a terrible oversight, but whatever. Now, for the rest of the legendary effects we're going to be put on, we're going for sprinters. This is going to increase the movement speed of you. Does not do it for followers, again, but this increases your movement speed to just make you super quick. If you are running across the wasteland, it is really fast. To give you an example, you now sneak at the speed you were running, you now run at the speed you were sprinting, and now you sprint twice as fast. It is phenomenal. I love it. And we're going to make that incredibly... we're going to be essentially doubling the speed once we get everything all powered up and whatnot. So, not sharp, sprinters. Thank you. So, Kate's Bandolier, you're just going to ignore that. It cannot have any kind of upgrades or anything put to it. Right now we're just trying to get all of these legendary effects on there before the Daddy-O wears out. And then we will worry about the rest of the stuff, because it requires us to have a whole lot of perks equipped and other things of that nature. So now, oh yeah. So we're just going to be perking out our crafting, max that out. We're also going to be taking Chemist and Chem Resistant, just for the Daddy-O effect to stay going. Now, we're going to come in here, because if we look, for example, for linings, you're going in, what is it? It's the Advanced Jetpack Ring, the cape, whatever clothes you are wearing, and whatever chest piece you are wearing. When you go for, where is it? Yeah, here it's miscellaneous. You're going to want Biocom Mesh, just so that your come on, just so that your chems last longer. Because as much as I don't endorse this, being a chem head is quite nice in the Fallout universe, especially since we can get those to last for quite a long time compared to base game. So here it's an overlay, and again, biocom mesh. Alright, so chest piece, whatever clothes you're wearing, the cape, and the jetpack ring. You want those to have biocom mesh. Now, if you look here for the weave, with the destruction through science, we get this new Aramid tech weave. But you can see this is going to need kinetic gel, carbon fiber thread, and the Aramid tech weave itself. Now, this is part of... Oof, you can see how quickly we move now. The advanced materials, and you can make them 10 at a time, but be careful, sometimes it likes to glitch out and send you back to the only making one. But we're just going to make a whole bunch of everything we needed, because we're going to be putting that across all forms of our armor. And believe me, we're probably going to have to come back and make more, but all of that's earning you experience too. So now we'll come in here to crafting, to weave, and now we can get this. Because you can see here, with the ballistic weave mod that we have going on, either you can have the Institute Killer's ballistic weave, which gives us 22 added, because the ring here gives us 100 to all those resistances. So it gives you 22, but gives you a 10% bonus damage against Institute members and synths, and that's per piece of equipment with that on. So if you're going to become the bane of the Institute Killer is your deal. You can see here you get about 112, or yeah, 112 when it comes to the Ballistic Weave 5, which is Vanilla Game's highest Ballistic Weave. But if you look at this Aramid Tech Weave, it's giving you energy defense, it's giving you radiation defense, it's giving you fire defense. It's the best. It is... Truly nothing can really hurt you. So that's what we're going to end up going with for most of these things. We're just trying to give it the biggest and brightest buffs that we can. And that's the idea across all of these, for the most part. Now when it comes to certain things like the bandana and the armor, they have color swap properties, so you can make them look like whatever they've got as options here, or you can make them invisible, if that's what you would rather do. Where is the invisible option? I know it's here. At least it should be. Yeah, invisible. So if you actually wanted to see the pretty face you took time to make, then you could just make it invisible. Personally, I just like the black high-tech for its look. Not to mention, since I can't change the colors on certain things like the airship captain's hat, it kinda makes it look like it blends in. It really doesn't. I'm just lying to myself. But still, at least they're, close to matching colors. So, again, we're just putting on everything that can give us a boost or a buff. The best of the best. Now, doing this is going to also change the name of said thing, so it will switch its positioning. Like, for example, those were Liam's glasses, now they're armored, so they're at the top. So when it comes to most of the clothing, it's going to make it armored. The armor itself, because we made it VAT enhanced, it'll be there in V. But just don't get surprised as everything starts jumping around. That should have been everything there. Now the Pip-Boy only has the legendary effect added, which is why I gave ourselves, a 70% decrease in VATs. Okay, now you can see here for the armor, it's going to be something different. We need nuclear-infused alloy, precision parts, and solder. Well, that's nice, and I'm going to need that for probably everything, aren't I? No. I am going to need entangled polymer, though. So you can see this is part of the better destruction through science, either melee damage increase, which honestly that's what we should go for. If you do the reload speed, you literally reduce, with both the arms being reload speed and the perk for reload speed, it's ridiculous. But we're going melee, so I still need entangled polymer. Is that all I'm going to need for here as well? Because here we're going for movement speed, so yeah, entangled polymer. Now what was the entangled polymer and what? No, this is precision parts, nuclear infused alloy, and solder. Alright, so I needed a bunch of that. That's right, that's... So to get the nucleofused alloy, you see we need uranium. And to get uranium, we have to... What do you mean I lack the... Oh, I need nuclear physicist. Yeah, we need... to take something else, we need this. I'd forgotten about that part. But now that we've got that, we're going to recycle a bunch of material and then make our alloys. It really uses a lot of uranium for that, but this will be totally worth it in the end, trust me. So, now we have this kinetic combat armor. Exceptional damage resistance and energy resistance, but also it has the pneumatic effect that you get from reducing the magnitude of staggers. But combat armor can have that just naturally. As far as paint's concerned, I like the Nuka-Cola decal swap. And then we're going to put in our weaves. Oh, come on. I don't need a color swap because I like having the white and the red. I think it looks nice. But let's continue with all this upgrading. Again, reload speed. Why can't I? Because I didn't take big leagues yet. Huh. You know, I'm going to turn this whole program on its head. We haven't even decided yet. And I like the reload speed. Yeah, we're not gonna go melee. Why? Even though the whole point melee builds with the Blitz, it is incredibly broken. I'm more partial to what's going on here, especially since I really have to show you how much the reload speed is increased. Alright, and now and besides, with how broken this is, you really don't need any more melee damage. Especially since a lot of the chems are broken for melee with how much they increase its damage. So, oh, I need more tech weave. Is that the last piece anyway? Nope. Nope. Okay, so more tech weave. Ugh. Sorry, third person really does bug me, but there's a trick that we're going to be discussing here in the mods, where third person is much more useful. So we needed this last weave. Perfect. And then finally put the weave on our wedding ring. So now that we are all armored up, I'm gonna go into our inventory here. Yeah. Almost 3,000s when it comes to energy and physical. We have 100 poison resist, which is plenty just from the jetpack ring. We're almost 2,500 in fire resistance and over 2,500 in radiation resistance. Not to mention, we slowly lose radiation due to the Wolverine healing. So you can't be radiated, you can't take damage, and even if you somehow do, your health regenerates pretty quickly. But because we changed up the program, we're going to hold on to the super sledge. But we are going to... trying to remember. Yeah, we could do that. Some of the most broken weapons. The laser musket can be super broken. The Fat Man. Holy cow. The Gatling laser is a good one. The Gauss rifle is another good one. I don't like the Gatling laser just because it does not work with these simple infinite ammo. The missile launcher's another one, which can be super fun. The minigun as well. But I'm just choosing 4 of them right now. Yeah, we'll stick with the super sledge just because it is the best you're going to get. Now, when it comes to the infinite ammo, what has happened is it's changed the scrapper to unfinite ammo. You only need 1 level in it, so go ahead and take that. Other than that, any other damage buffs you're going to get are going to be Black Widow, Lone Wanderer, Bloody Mess. Just going to go ahead and take the 2 perks of Idiot Savant now, even though we really don't need them. I want both Blitz, and I want Gung Fu. I want Quick Hands. I'm also going to want Moving Target, so we have less action point drain. Yeah, sneak attack damage is a good idea. We do have a silenced weapon in the Gauss rifle, so Sandman works for that. And you can see we still have just a ton of stuff, so let's get more, even though we don't need it. Some life regen, even though we don't need it. Demolitions Expert is always good to have when pairing with other things like the Gauss rifle. Yeah, the super sledge. Ooh, I'm gonna need automatic for that. I'm gonna need that eventually, and that will make sense eventually. Let's see, I'm not gonna be doing unarmed. No reason not to have those, especially since we modded them. You can take that. You're still going to need Adamantium Skeleton, just because the Wolverine healing doesn't do much for... It gives some limb regeneration, but it won't stop it from being crippled. Gauss rifle, yep. Because of VATS melee. It's more health regeneration, gun bashing, hip fire aim. That's just pluses to stats. I don't need Scrapper. Yeah, we might as well boost criticals. Ricochet's always good, and so is Nerd Rage. But you can also see how fast we have leveled. This is kind of ridiculous. I'll take some Party Girl. Nope, I don't need Medic, but we'll take Vans and Awareness. Just to have them. And again, we're not done, so we're just going to keep leveling as this continues. Because now we need to look into a few other things for these other weaponry. For the Fat Man, we want the true nuke, so I need microchips. And also, we're going to want that to be instigating, even though it really doesn't need it. Just don't two-shot it, it can crash your game. Also, never do never ending, it messes up the infinite ammo. So, anything that's never ending, don't do it. But yeah, don't use VATS enhanced, because if you can target in VATS with this nuke, you're too close, it's going to kill you too. So yeah, we're going to go with instigating. And I needed microchips. Aha, come on. So, let's see here. I need a 4th rank in hacker? For real? You know, you're lucky I've got that. Or maybe I'm lucky I had that. Whatever. You know what I meant. So now, microchips. And we'll probably need more of those too, but that being the latest mod to the collection, I'm not well versed in it. But now we've made ourselves that. We still have to make ourselves the true nuke. So if we come over here into the ammunition, we look up true nuke. I need uranium and a mini nuke. Now, fortunately, because of the Freemaker, we can just get a mini nuke. But just be careful, because you don't want the one that has the damage. That's actually an unarmed weapon. You run up and smack people in the face with it. No, it doesn't explode. But you want this one. So you're going to make one of those, and then I need to make more uranium, which is the recycled material. So now we go back up to ammunition, and we have ourselves a true nuke. Now, don't do the football nuke. With me being on a PS4, it crashes my game every time. So, if you're on PC, maybe, but we're going to go with the true nuke. So now we have that weapon squared away. That was the easy one. So next, we're going to go for one of my personal favorites, the Gauss rifle. And just upgrade it as much as you can, and whatever. This is the capacitor we're going to need microchips, Band-Aid, and Band-Aid capacitors for, and we'll get to that. So we're just going to make everything else. And again, this one's going to be instigating, because it's meant to get the drop on them. So it'll double its damage if they are at full health. These are meant to knock you out in one shot. That's the idea. But we needed capacitors, Vandate, and microchips. Yes, microchips, Vandate. Alright, so we'll go make that. So, again, into advanced materials, microchips, and then the Vanadate capacitors need Vanadate, so... And this makes 10 capacitors, so I'm gonna need 2 more of those, and then a bunch of the Vanadate itself. I hope I did that right. I think I have everything sorted. Awesome. So now we have that set. It takes a new ammo type as well. So for that, I have the Vanadite already. I might want some more. And then Oh no, we only need to, yeah. So I need electromagnetic rounds, which again is easy. These make at 100 a round, so... And most ammunition does it that way. So now we make those. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make it extra. So now that one should be squared away. And then finally we have our laser musket here. Now I gotta remember where it was at. Now we're gonna make it automatic for one. There it is, a Sultron barrel. It's just a massive damage boost for this thing. And luckily we already have all the parts. Great. Full stock. Honestly, the only reason we're putting the scope on it is for the accuracy and bats. Why not? The Enclave would make something crazy like this. And now, don't get me wrong, that alone is powerful enough, but we're going to mess with it even more, and we're going to make it explosive. Even though laser weapons shouldn't be able to become explosive, that's a ballistics thing. Yeah. We're modding the game anyhow. So yeah, that should be all of that. This does now need new cells, so let's make that ammo. And a Sultron fusion cells. I just need fusion cells. So ammo. Fusion cells, should make 100 of them. And then fusion cells. Now, with all that said and done, we're going to go ahead and favorite all of these weapons. So Super Sledge, we'll put down here. Gauss Rifle, Fat Man, and Laser Musket. Alright, so now we have all these weapons to choose from. A nice Super Sledge, which, now that I think about it, we didn't do... the heating coil is more damage, and it's not like we actually need the chance to stun, because we're going to be one-shotting them. I mean, you can see it already does over 2,000 damage, and you can make that better. You can make that much better. Specifically, if you come in here for aid, let's just go ahead and make the Chem Cocktail. I don't use anything with jet in it, just because you can't stack them because of the slow time effect. But these, yeah, make a Daddio. Now, taking a Daddio will cancel the Daddio Extreme, but that's why we made an extra one. Fury, that's one that you're going to need for the melee damage increase. Again, I'm just making all the chems. Minus jet for its slow down effect, because again, does not stack. And you could throw food and alcohol in here too, but really, you just need the chems. It just makes it so unfair. I think that was it. Besides, I usually don't bother with the XL, just because it only lasts for like 10 minutes now with all of our boosts, but we're going to throw it in there too. Make sure that you get Yao Guai Roast, though, because of that plus to melee. So, just to give an example, first I'm going to take the regular Daddio, so you can see our special as is right now, with what we have going on. But now, let's take the everything else. And now, if you can look, quite an improvement to our special. It even increased our damage resistances a bit. And now our super sledge is almost doing 3,000 damage. So, yeah. That's totally worth it. Now, to demonstrate a couple of things. This isn't really going to demonstrate it much because I have a 100-round clip now in a Gauss rifle. I know, that's crazy. But you can see I still have a 95 at this distance. Yeah. You almost never will miss. Even with this, which is just super overpowered, I only needed the one burst. And it'll go off. It'll just keep going. Just firing at the last piece of it that it saw. Now, because of the unfinite ammo, when you fire your last round, it'll just refill your magazine. If you like, where was the reload? That's the whole purpose of the synth arms. There is no reload, and that goes for everything. Now, this is going to be the weapon you have to be careful with. Okay? Literally, like, every single time I fire this weapon, I legitimately quick save first. Like, no joke. So just to give an example, I'm going to come down here to Lakeside. We're going to quick save. And I am aiming for the other side of the lake, because any closer and it's going to kill me. So let's try it. Hopefully we'll hit the Mirelurks that are over there. Is it too far away? Alright, let's try it again. That or I'm hitting the water and it's not registering the impact. Nope, it's too far away. Alright, hopefully I don't blow myself up. That still might be too close. Nah, we're good. But now anything that was even remotely standing close to that impact has been obliterated. So, yeah. And again, there's like no reload like whatsoever. That goes for pretty much everything. Even this, I'm just not going to stand here and waste 100 rounds because this thing doesn't have the best of fire rates. But it is the best sniper rifle, and it's been improved even farther now thanks to the better destruction modifications. But yeah, you are now fully set to take on whatever, wherever in the wasteland. You have incredibly overpowered weapons. If you need scrap for something, you have, you know, the cheat chest spawn for that. You're gaining levels exponentially fast, and you can always make yourself more Daddy-O Extreme. Yeah. That is how I personally start a broken character in Fallout 4 when I'm modding. Because there's absolutely nothing that's going to be able to damage me. I have so much health regen from perks and equipment. Getting around places, you can see how fast I'm just normally moving. You can see even sneaking, I'm at a heightened pace of movement. I see you. So to give you an idea of Blitz, I'm across the street. Blink. I am right next to him. That is why Blitz is broken. Because even if they're somewhat like around a corner. So here, let's... Yeah. And again, the farther away you are, the more damage Blitz does. But now, boom, I'm right next to them. And again, you can sit here and take multiple targets and just blink around the room, smacking them with a big hammer, or whatever you choose to, unarmed fist even. I mean, let me see here. Yeah, I'm doing 102 unarmed, and I haven't even taken the perks for unarmed, which can increase that by double. Yeah. So, truly a broken character. But this is where you get to have fun doing all the crazy cool stuff. Yeah. Now, you can see here the increased movement speed that we have, how fast you're sprinting. You can actually crash the game because it does not load fast enough. So what I like to do, let's go follow that. So if you notice, this is incredibly broken for third-person players. If you have your weapon away, even with all these movement boosts, you still just sneak at a regular pace. But if you pull your weapon out, then you start sneaking around. Oh, wow. But yeah, it is a rarity for you to miss in VATS, especially at certain distances. Not to mention with the with your decrease in VAT costs. I'm not going to actually shoot Clarabelle, but a Gauss rifle should not be able to do that. Just saying. So the gun fu perk can be done with things that it should not be able to be done. Yeah, be done with. But this is another thing where it's broken in third person. This is our regular movement speed, and you can see how we're just booking it. If you go into the sprint, it's the same speed, unless you jump. And now with the advanced jetpack ring, you just kind of tap it to stop yourself from falling, and then you can essentially run in the air. And you didn't even notice me. Cool. Same thing can be done. You can sneak through the air. So, yet another reason I say I'm a superhero. It's not flying, it's falling with style, but Buzz Lightyear would be proud. Alright, so you can see that one's going to be hard to hit, unless we have a critical hit, which are guaranteed hit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to hit these three to make sure that this fourth target gets the Gun Fu perk. So, first target, he's down. Second target, bonus 50 damage, bonus another damage, automatic critical hit. And then any targets beyond that, automatic critical hits. So you can legitimately set yourself up to have so many critical hits going for you. Oh, I wasn't close enough. Really? Now you can see why my melee builds are done in VATS, because I am a terrible, terrible aim. Alright, this has gone on long enough of an episode, but we're going to continue with this because we have a target to get to. One of the mods leaves an item here at the Kingsport Lighthouse, and we have not discovered that yet. So we are going to be heading in that direction. Now, if we head to the alternative mod that makes all of the locations discovered and fast travel able, then we could just head there. But personally, I like discovering as well as, you know, it's bonus experience. But yeah, that is how you start a broken, modified character, or at least in my fashion. Hopefully you found this informative and entertaining. Sorry it was another long, drawn-out crafting video, but we'll get to the fun stuff here in the next episode. Hope to catch you then. Peace.